Welcome to the channel, Scott's Garage HTX. Don't forget the HTX. Today, well, no, let's start with yesterday. Actually, I rode the motorcycle into the shop for Saturday, and then when time was time to close, it was raining. So I just Ubered back home because I didn't want to ride in the rain. Plus, I had washed the bike during the day. I need to pick up the bike, basically. And I thought, well, I can Uber it, or I can have my wife take me over there or whatever. But I thought maybe we just test this out. It's 7.8 miles per Google on the route I want to take all the way back up to the shop. So this is supposed to have a range of 50 miles. I'm sure that's for in eco mode or something like that. It has 3 modes first. I'm going to read some. Sorry for reading to you, but it has an E mode, which is like 3 miles an hour. It has a L mode, which is about 9.3 miles an hour or 10 miles an hour that reads on this gauge right here. And then it has a sport mode or H mode, which is 20 miles an hour. Well, I've ridden on this thing at the track, and my dog loves to chase me on it, so it's been pretty fun. The specifications on this, and again, I'm going to read to you again, sorry, but it is a weight of 46 pounds, 21 kilograms, 46.3, I guess that is if you do the rough math. It has a range of 50 miles. The maximum gradient that it has says it's 25%. Adapted terrain, flat and mountain. Operating temperatures 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. IP rating, I don't know what that is. Finished product IP55. I don't even know what that means. Charging time, 2 amps or 2A under 8 hours, 3A under 6 hours. The good stuff, battery. The rated voltage is 47 volts. Rated capacity is 14.7 AH. 13 series, 3 parallel. Again, I don't know what that means. All my engines are combustion. BMS, don't know what that is. Battery quality, 39 pieces. I believe that's pieces. PCS. Swappable battery, no. Motor size, 10-inch. And maximum torque, 28 Nms. Rated voltage, 47. Rated power, 350 watts. Max power, 700 watts. Motor control mode, brushless, gearless motor. It's got 10-inch wheels. I do know that without reading it. And it has an electronic front brake and a manual rear brake, which is slightly adequate for my weight. Again, the braking is going to be better the less you weigh. What else do we have here? Input voltage, charger is 100 to 240 volts. Output voltage 54.6 volts. Minimum load user 40 kilograms. Max load 100 kilograms. I'm okay. It gives you a recommended age 14 years or older. Height requirement 120 centimeters to 200 centimeters. Some of the good stuff on this bike basically, or scooter, is it's operated with a thumb control here. One thing I do like about it has really thick handles on it from my big hands. It has a gauge here that tells you how fast you're going, how much voltage you have or battery life you have, and what mode you're in. It has a light right here and a reflector. The light is cool. Turn it on. Just click it again for the light to come on. And it has a rear light that's on, and now it's not operated. It's not a brake light. Oh, check that out. Is that right? Yes, it's actually a brake light. That's really cool. It flashes when you hit the brake. I didn't even know it did that. It has a pretty good stand on it, meaning the battery's fairly large, so that allowed them to put on a pretty good stand for you to sit on, and foot pegs or your foot area. It folds down into this where you can carry it. It has a little kickstand. That kickstand's murder on your feet if you put it on there and let it slip on your feet, bare feet. Oh, that's murder. But it's okay. It tells you how fast you're going. It has a bell. And the neat feature about the bell, I found over 105 degrees, it just starts ringing on its own. I was at the track and it was hot and it just started ringing. I don't know how. All right. right, we're about to set off, and don't worry, I won't make you, it's what, let's do the math on that. 20 miles an hour for 7.8 miles, that seems to be 24 minutes if I was going the entire time at 20 miles an hour. I think the math is right. But I won't be able to do that. This might take 40 minutes. You will not have to watch me ride the scooter for 40 minutes. We'll just do the highlights. One of the things I forgot to mention, this does come with a locking card. You can lock it. Once I unlocked it, I've never locked it again because, well, I'm always with it. The other mistake I made this morning was telling my wife that I was doing this. So I need to turn on my location so she knows where I'm at. She's not happy with this little adventure I'm about to do, and I can understand that. So I need to turn on my location and we're going to get started. To begin with, you can't just push the accelerator, which is this thumb operated on the right hand side. You can't just get on it and go. It won't do anything. You actually have to push off on it and then it'll catch. And it has a pretty good acceleration to it, but what I found is if you stand upright on this, it's very comfortable and you can cruise like that. But if you want to do any sharp turns, actually leaning back on the handlebars like this, you can go faster and do a tighter radius than if you were standing up over here, because you're too unstable if you're upright like this. So you kind of have to get in kind of a athletic kind of stance to get that to do that. All right, we are off. There we go. And as you can see, I am squidding this a bit. I am wearing absolutely no protective gear whatsoever. So that's one of these classic things where do as I say, don't do as I do. You probably should be wearing a helmet, maybe even some gloves, elbow pads, knee pads, something protective. I've got none of that. Sorry. The ride isn't bad. The tires are big enough to take up some of the bumps. But I know I've made this jogging route and bicycle route before, and I know some of the there we go, some of the sidewalks that we have here in Houston are less than what do you say, optimal. They're not the best. Don't blame Houston so much for that, all right? There is the ground here in Texas, it moves a lot. And the sidewalks, cement, foundations, they all suffer because of it. Look at this. This is new sidewalk right here. So you can tell Houston's trying. It'll be interesting to see how much or how far I get on high. Because I sure, yeah, look at this right here. See, this is a joke. And I'm gonna have to fight with pedestrians. There's a bike lane right here. So I can take this. Mrs. is gonna be happy about that. If you were smelling this right now, you would smell a lot of bat guava, okay? This bridge right here has tons of bats, and at night, they all come out from right here. Thousands upon thousands of bats. And wow, this is I wish I had a better handle. Oops. Brakes work. See, look at this sidewalk. It's just hideous. I used to take this route on my bike. Okay, this thing is going to be a pain in the rear. Anyway, I like this poor guy right here. He is on his bike. I used to take this bike route in the mornings when I was doing my exercises in the mornings. And I stopped doing it because that school back there, it's called the Shin, it's all girls Catholic school. And the mom and dad's driving there, are incredibly dangerous. All they're trying to do is get their kids to school, and there is an entranceway there, and I don't know how many times they literally ran right over me. So I just stopped doing it because I was going to be, you know, just roadkill, because the ultra-rich Catholic school mom and dads didn't really give a crap about somebody on a bicycle. All they cared about is getting their kids to school. This is quite hideous as far as the sidewalks go. I'm going to try to go on the street for a little bit. Now, I've done this Sunday morning because, well, hopefully there won't be a lot of traffic. Now here, looks like I have only trail. I don't really have a sidewalk, so we'll see how this thing does in a kind of gravel trail. Kind of a test of my riding abilities, because I'm slipping around a little bit. Now I do slip and slide a little bit, especially on the larger stuff. Maybe I'll get over here in the smooth stuff. We can tell this motor has a fair amount of torque. I mean, it's wet too. It rained all yesterday, and this is not hard packed anymore. It's a little soft. So when I go through this stuff, I'm slowing down to 16, 17 miles an hour because it's softer. But we're back on cement now. Now this should be pretty nice. This is all fairly new construction through here. What they did is they redid the trails of Memorial Park, and you can see right there, nice bridge, nice stairs leading up to it. A lot of people come here and run, and I believe the trail, the running trail, is still that packed granite, because it's easier on your feet, it's easier on your knees. Uh-oh. I don't have, okay, so here's an interesting thing about Houston right here. Okay, if you look over there, there is no sidewalk. Oh, there it is, the sidewalk was hiding it. She's gonna let me go. Cool, thank you. Or that's actually a dude. This was not here before. Oh, I would love to go through the tunnels. Let's do that. I know it's gonna take a little bit more time. See what I'm talking about? That guy in that motorcycle just had to let it go through this tunnel. And look at all the black marks on the tunnel here, with everybody doing their burnouts. Who cares? At any rate, and there's one more set of them. All the douchebag car guys go film and do burnouts there and think like that's the first time anybody's ever thought about doing that. And you'll see all these black marks in there, and they make all kinds of noise. And I guess it's no harm. There's no houses around here, and they do it in the middle of the night because the pictures look really good at night because the tunnels are all lit up, and it sounds great because it's in a tunnel. And there's really no harm to it because I don't really think they're hurting anybody, but they act like they're the first ones to come up with that or something. Okay, what I was going to say earlier, and I kind of got distracted. Imagine that. Okay, there's a trail here. I'm on cement, and there's a sidewalk. The way Houston works is there doesn't have to be a sidewalk on either side of the road, as long as there's a sidewalk on one side of the road. So what you have to do is go up and go across the crosswalk. All right? And go to the other side for the sidewalk. Now, I guess, I don't know what they define as a sidewalk. Gravel, cement, tar, that I don't know. But I do know that is somewhat of a stipulation in Houston as far as code goes. And that's how they kind of get around saying, hey, Houston's a very, trackable and usable city for foot and bike and all that pedestrians. And, you can kind of make up your own mind on that stuff. You don't need a city to tell you what they are. You can make up your own mind. Well, somebody got a special code or something. Holy cow. That's not cool. All right, I'm just gonna go to the other side. Try to get on that sidewalk. This is why Houston kind of a bad rap as far as its usability for pedestrians. Anyway, the scooter is doing fine. It is a little, let's say, rough. It has no suspension. And I'm trying to stay out of all the pedestrians' way on the scooter. But I'm going to jump back on the sidewalk. It handles bumps fairly good. If you see one that's more than an inch, hello, ladies. You kind of need to, slow down, prepare yourself, brace your back, pull up on the front handlebar, something like that, because it's not enjoyable. Right? Whoa. But the scooter seems to be handling it fine. Let's take this Buffalo Bayou Walk. It's going to be smoother, it's new pavement, and it's got hills, and we can test this thing out a little better. Gives me a chance to use my bell. I can feel the brake, the front brake, when I let go of the accelerator. It actually does slow down. I don't think it's regenerative, but it does actually slow you down a bit. Hey, my bell. So going up this hill, 17 miles an hour. Used to live in those apartments over there. First apartments I lived in, coming to Houston. What the? That's another bat bridge. I don't know if you heard that or not, but all those bats squeaking, that's another one of Houston's bat bridges. Hey, I'm actually catching up this guy in the bike. Better get going, old man. Yeah, he was a bit optimistic. So, this is the Allen Parkway walkway run. So it's a new park. And I need to take these bridges. It's a new park, and they've done a great job. This is great. It's really helped with Houston's, accessibility and fitness for everybody. But it floods during hurricanes, and there's a light right down there, a couple lights, and they had some blue lights down here. I think those are for emergencies. They're sealed up, so this whole thing here, I'm going to show you on the camera. This whole thing that's the bayou, and right down there are some of the trails, okay? And this whole thing will flood. I mean, the entire thing will flood. It will be up almost, not to this bridge, but where land is, and it'll flood even the streets. And what's eerie about it is you can still see those blue lights on underneath the water. It's pretty crazy. All right, I'm crossing over Memorial right now. And we'll go up this street to my street where the shop is on, and we're almost there. This has not been a bad ride at all. Used to live in these apartments over here too, after my first divorce. And the name has changed, but they're pretty cool apartments. I had a studio, and at the time I had a Harley, and I would park the Harley in my studio apartment. And when I mean, I had a 2-story studio. Yeah, studio sounds like it was small. It was large, and actually, back on the street, it actually was pretty nice. It had a, you know, an open concept. It was pretty neat. And I would park my Harley Davidson underneath the staircase so nobody would steal it. Trust me, having a bike in an apartment, I just don't know. I mean, it's a ticking time bomb. That's like parking your bike at the airport. It's going to get stolen. Did I remember my keys? Oh shit. Oh, I did. Thank goodness. Well, that wasn't really that bad at all, actually. I don't know what the time I did. Let's see how much power I have left. I used 50% of my power just getting here. 7.8 miles. There were probably 8 miles as I took some of those trails. And it really wasn't bad. The scooter held up great. I see a lot of college kids on these things on campus. Really neat. So definitely worth the while. I didn't want to buy it because I thought it cost a lot for a freaking scooter. But now that I had it and it's come in handy, I actually love it. So probably pick one up if you can. You guys keep on keeping on. We'll catch you next time. Oh, one of the things I'll say about Houston, I wish the sidewalks were a little bit wider. I'm gonna have a popsicle before I ride back home. It's kind of warm.